Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2022 United States Amateur Disc Golf Championships. It's playoff time. That's right, this PDGA major going into extra holes because, well, 54 weren't enough at the Toboggan. So we're coming back to you guys. We've seen a crazy battle unfold. In fact, scores shifting all over the place in the last couple of holes. When it was all said and done, Zachary came up just a little bit short. And Wes is joining me yet again as we're going to see Ilkin and Paul take to hole number one. It's going to be a sudden death playoff. We've got Robert Leonard from the PDGA. He's going to be explaining the exact rules and how things are going to get started as we take a look at our top 10 finishers from this weekend. But the most important finish is this one.
So we do have a playoff. First person to win a hole will be the champion. Keep playing until someone wins a hole outright. All normal rules from the week are still in effect.
Yep.
You'll play hole one. If it's not over there, you'll go to 17. If it's not over there, you'll go to 18. Then you return to 1. John's getting ready to flip a coin. If it's heads, Paul, you will tee first. If it's tails, Ilkin, you'll tee first.
Tails never fails.
And then if you both tie hole one, the order will flip on hole two. And then if you tie hole two, the order will flip on 3, so on and so forth.
Gotcha.
Any questions?
No, sir.
All right, John, go ahead and do the flip. Heads is Paul, tails is Ilkin.
You guys like this course? You still want to play some extra holes? All right, here you go. Good luck.
It is heads. Paul, you have the tee. Good luck, gentlemen.
Yep. Good luck, Paul.
I don't want to shake hands.
Since we are in
Nineties.
a twosome, all calls will be made by me.
Yes, sir.
And we hear it. We're going to take another look at the drone preview for hole one. Wes, as we said, extra holes at a major. You can't beat this, can you?
No, we're starting on hole one here. Both of these guys parred hole one in the final round yesterday. And if we're looking at momentum at all, Ilkin finished with 2 birdies on the round. Paul had the birdie on 17 and a par on 18. So if there's any sort of momentum, maybe slight advantage to Ilkin here.
Paul going with the forehand.
And
Pin
a really,
high. Yeah.
really good shot by Paul there. I just can't even imagine what these guys are feeling in this moment, going to this 2-person playoff head-to-head for an AM major.
And we've talked about it. We've seen what so many of our players have gone on to do and the careers that they've had. And this is a significant part of an amateur player's career. They always talk about winning the AM Worlds and the AM Nationals, 2 of our biggest events at the AM level. So this can be, set your career path, maybe give it a little bit of a jump start or keep it heading in the right direction. And because it is so crucial, they were actually measuring. It was so close as to who they thought was out. It wasn't obvious. And so they were both get out their rangefinders from this distance, and then they go over to Paul's shot, because as we know, when you get to sudden death playoffs, it almost becomes a little bit of a chess match. And you sometimes either want to put the pressure on or live up to the pressure or decide if there's something you need to do, because a roll away or something crazy could maybe even force a playoff, could even force a layup of some sort.
Yeah, ultimately, it looks like Paul is a little farther out. He's putted so well throughout this competition. He gives that one an honest attempt. You got to fight that little uphill there, so you got to give it a little bit more than you think, and it looks like he comes up a little short, so we'll go over to Ilkin.
He has a chance to secure the victory here from 60 feet. And it was close, but not quite.
Yeah, we've seen him go with that stepper. He's actually made a lot of those putts through the last round. And even these short ones, Terry, these little 10, 12 footers. I mean, Paul has not missed one that we've seen on camera yet, but you really got to focus in on those. These guys have played 54 holes, like you said, and, are both mentally and physically tired.
Well, now we head over to hole 17. We heard that if it's not decided on 1, it goes to 17. If it's not decided on 17, it goes to 18. And if somehow it's still not decided, that loop continues to repeat until somebody wins a hole outright.
Yeah, both these guys birdied hole 17 in the final round 3.
We think back to round 2, we saw Ilkin almost throw one in from over 300 feet for the eagle. So certainly has this one dialed.
Yeah, I got to imagine both these guys are thinking the birdie will give them a good chance to secure a victory here.
Yeah, 840 feet. It feels like a really good birdie to get. We saw in round one, a lot of people struggled. The entire field actually struggled to pick up birdies. And I feel like by rounds 2 and 3, so many of our players started to figure it out, including these two, as you mentioned. And Paul, a little more on point, on line with the basket.
And I got to imagine that puts Paul closer to the pin, which should mean that Ilkin's first to act here.
Yeah, and I tried to scoot over and actually get near Paul and his dad as I was watching Ilkin. I wanted to see if I could get any reaction out of them. Unfortunately, all of the grass and the terrain didn't set up for what I was going for. But Ilkin with an incredible shot, just flashing over the top of the pin, and he's going to be obstructed, but he's inside the circle.
Yeah, we've seen him do that in both rounds 2 and 3. He's got a good handle on this hole.
Short and on the hillside, but makeable and much more open. Although he's got a little elevation here to contend with. Awkward footing?
Yeah, I think so. This is similar to where we saw Kristen putt at D-Glow. Wow, and he makes it.
All pressure back on Ilkin now. He needs this to possibly extend a playoff.
And look how obstructed he is, Terry.
But he has a little window.
Went through the motions here.
Biggest putt of his career.
Go!
He cans it. A little yelp of excitement, as you should. He has just extended the playoff. And now we move on to our third hole. Hole number 18, the uphill. There's no OB to speak of, but this is a very tough get.
Yeah, we had talked about, birdies are available here, but really the best play is to probably go the same route that Ilkin did to get the birdie on 18, swing one wide and give yourself a chance. This is where Ilkin hit the big step putt on 18 to force the playoff.
Backside of circle 2, so looking probably about 50, maybe 55 feet.
That's really
opportunity
tough.
Here, yeah, for Paul, right? Or a correction for Ilkin, I apologize.
Yeah, and Ilkin's got to be feeling good. He birdied this one to finish. He's thinking if he can do it here again. Oh.
It doesn't look like he took advantage of the opportunity. He could have put a lot of pressure on, and instead he's actually out, so he's first to act.
This is a little further than he was to finish round 3.
And he knows that may be the end of the tournament, because now Paul lined up from inside that for the win.
Oh, just doesn't quite commit to it. He's still got that uphill. He's got to give it a little extra. I feel like maybe nerves come in a little bit there when you end up leaving that short. He's still got a tester here.
What confidence. Just right on the pole. I know I talked about that quite a bit, but it feels like so many of his putts are just dead center. Nice smooth stroke. Ilkin going with, the abbreviated putting routine. We saw the time he spent on 17 versus walking up and tapping that one in. And we're going to jump back over. 3 holes hasn't been enough. And you saw during the explanation in the opening, they explained that the honors, so to speak, continue to flip back and forth. And that's a new rule that's been implemented with the PDGA and PDGA play here in the last couple of years, so that not just one person has the honors based on any given scenario. Anytime like this, now they continue to flip back and forth every hole they continue to play. And I do really like that rule.
Yeah, I think that's a great change so that it's just not one person having maybe an advantage going first or
second.
disadvantage. Yeah. We saw Ilkin go with something maybe a little bit flippier. It looked like he wanted to try and get himself closer to the basket, put an end to this, but it actually ends up flipping over on him. He was far away. Paul's in a really similar place to the last lap around here, so he'll have another circle 2 look at the basket. Ilkin just hoping to put this one close.
Yeah, and even with his height, I'm not sure he can see the basket. He is tucked way down off on that left-hand side, and that's a solid approach to inside 15 feet.
There's so many things that can go wrong with that shot from Ilkin, and just phenomenal execution.
Again, for the win. Here's what they haven't made these, but what I am liking is now Paul does it again, a comebacker. They're giving almost all of these a chance. Coming up way shorter, not even getting to the basket would be the number one mistake. They're at least giving them a chance, and it seems like maybe just too much adrenaline and power as they're carrying over the basket on a number of these circle 2 putts.
Yeah, I like that both of these guys are trying to win. They're not just waiting for somebody to mess up. Just like you said, Terry, they're giving everything a bid, trying to take this home.
And ripping it again here on hole number 17. No problems for Paul. Feel like he can't be too far from his previous lie. There's got to be something to be said about just a consistency of always knowing what shot you need now that you've played this hole 5 times.
Yeah, and Ilkin switches up his strategy here. He goes with something that flips over to the right instead of kind of going over by hole 1's fairway and playing the hyzer shot into the basket. I wonder if this was a strategic play. He's thinking, I want to get closer than Paul. Put some pressure on Paul to make the first shot.
We heard him talk about it. He knew he smashed that drive. Just outright exclamation all about it. He knew he got all of that drive. It was pretty exciting. So Paul backs first. Hillside again. Got to be familiar with it, right?
Yeah, he had just made one from in that same area there. Very familiar to him.
If there's ever been a time for an eagle throw in, this is it.
He's come up close.
Wow, and very similar position. The two of them are about 4 feet apart from one another as they've both thrown their approaches here on 17. But Paul is out.
Yeah, we've seen Paul putt phenomenally all tournament.
That might be the first time we've seen it left side of the pole, but it doesn't matter because it falls in and all the pressure back now on Ilkin. Otherwise, Paul is your champion. Come on.
Wow.
He knew it. It was halfway to the pin, and he's already picking up his mini. The confidence.
You know, we saw Ilkin shoot a -5 in the 3rd round, and Paul shot a -7, which I believe was the hot round of the tournament. These guys are dialed in.
Asking for it to get underneath the branch, and it does. He's inside the circle, 25 feet.
And we've talked about how hard this hole is to birdie, and especially to get inside the circle for a birdie. That is huge.
And I'll follow that up and say I feel like it's even more difficult if you're exclusively going with the backhand. I mean, forehands seem to have a distinct advantage here.
Yeah, I agree, but Paul does really well with that. He's got himself right up about circle's edge. Paul will be first to act.
See the camaraderie. Something very special as we're in our 6th playoff hole. Justin in the background with a sigh for a moment as we've hiked up and down this hill.
Wow.
Just ice in his veins. And from about 8 feet closer, Ilkin now again has to answer.
And it is just pressure putt after pressure putt here. I mean, Paul's got to make the first one. Now Ilkin has to make this one.
Oh, and the crowd reacts. High left. And it barely stays in. His dad, he says that makes up for a spit out he had earlier. We're going to take another quick look.
Wow.
And that much dancing is the difference of becoming a champion or extending it. And Paul, tee shot, 7th hole of the playoff.
You just mentioned, Terry, we've gone up and down these hills
Yes, we have.
a couple of times throughout the tournament and now in the playoff.
Yeah, I've said it before. The two of these guys who are just 2 days apart in age, they're both 17. Their combined age doesn't add up to me as I'm trying to hustle up and down these hills and fairways with them. But the excitement and adrenaline was taking over for sure, even for me. And the two of them again have to get out the rangefinder to find out who's out. And Robert Leonard comes over and makes the official call that Paul is to act first for birdie.
Oh, and just off the cage. You know, Paul's had a similar putt both of the playoff holes before. That one's closer. He makes a correction, but it wasn't to be.
Now, for the first time, Paul is going to sit back and he's got to watch what Ilkin does. Ilkin talking to himself, thinking he can win the championship here. And he's done it. Ilkin Groh, your champion at the United States Disc Golf Championships. Congratulations. Thank you to the PDGA. Thank you to Discraft. And thank you, Wes. We're going to let Robert Leonard and Ilkin catch up with us now as he's crowned your champion.
You ready, brother? Ladies and gentlemen, the 2022 PDGA United States Amateur Disc Golf Champion, Ilkin Groh. Woo!
We are here with newly crowned U.S. Amateur Champion Ilkin Groh after an unbelievable 7-hole playoff. Ilkin, how are you feeling at this moment?
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. So happy. I can't believe it. I'm just overwhelmed. I'm so with joy. So proud of all the work I put in, how well I fought out here. There's so many times when I thought I had no chance today. Just kept battling. Paul was literally the best guy I could have gone after in this playoff. He was great. I don't know if you'll say this, but we are both 17. We are 2 days apart. We're both homeschooled. It was a blast. He was awesome. I'm just overwhelmed right now. It's so cool. So cool.
Too many unbelievable moments out there to recall, but one that comes to mind was a putt from Circle 2 on the very last hole of regulation to force a playoff. What were you feeling walking up that hill, and when did you, just tell us about that putt.
I mean, I knew I had to make it. Paul had me by 1. I threw the best shot I've thrown on 18 in 2 years playing this tournament. Put it right outside the circle. I knew I had to make it. I knew I was going to make it. Like I felt inside me. I had it in me. I was shaking so hard. Still caught left side. I just so much emotion in that moment. That to me was the most important putt of the whole tournament. Even that 60-footer I just made, like I didn't feel much pressure there. I was that putt had so much pressure, so much weighing on it. That was amazing. It was so cool.
And then the playoff itself, 7 holes. There was times when you must have thought you had it won. There was times when you must have thought you had it lost. How did you keep your head and push through that?
I don't even know. I wasn't really thinking, honestly. everything, the whole playoff was a blur. I feel like it started a second ago. We played almost a full 9 again. It was ridiculous. Paul literally doesn't miss. Like, he just kept hammering home putts. I mean, just for me, it's just so crazy that I came into this tournament, I was thinking, dude, if we could get like top 20, that'd be so sick. Top 10 would be amazing. The first day to be on the lead card and have a shot to win it, I was like, oh my gosh, is this real? It's just, everything's been a blur from there. And then to actually win it is just so cool and so incredible. But then to win it in this fashion where so many big putts were made, it was so super, one of the most exciting playoffs I've ever seen and witnessed. And I was able to partake in it. It's just so ridiculously amazing. I'm so grateful.
So what's coming up next for the U.S. Amateur Champ? Are you for tonight and going forward this season?
Well, tonight, I don't know. I think we're driving back home to Cincinnati tonight, so I'm just going to have to process things with my dad. I'll definitely call a lot of people, just talk about the round. It's one of the coolest moments of my life, if not the coolest. I don't know. Next big tournament for me is Am Worlds. When signing up for that, like, I was just like, I was going out there to play, maybe play well. Now I think I got a shot to win it. I'm going to go out there guns blazing, try to take that one down as well. And then I have Junior Worlds, my last shot at that. Just so thankful right now. This is so cool.
Before we let you go, give you a chance to say thanks to anybody at home, anybody here.
First of all, I want to thank God for this awesome opportunity. He helped me through everything. I was talking to him the whole time. It was awesome. My mom back at home, all my siblings, so much support. Dylan Trenum's back at home. He's been rooting me on, calling me after the rounds. Adam Osborne's up there. He was rooting me on, him and his family. And then my dad, obviously, for taking me out again, like keeping my head in it. Yeah, the people around me are so cool, and I'm so grateful for all of them.
Well, you heard it here. We have newly crowned U.S. Amateur Champion Ilkin Groh. Ilkin, congratulations.